Hey everybody, welcome to AnyScale Modelling Painting. In today's video I'm going to show you a tutorial on how to make your own flashing sign. Now this is sort of post-apocalyptic in your sci-fi terrain, and this is something that I saw on a Facebook page. Some other lad sort of posted his progress and I managed to get my hands on one of these. So this is me showing you how I achieved the results. So I hope you enjoy the video. Let's get started. So the main product you're going to need is one of these flashing food toppers. And they're from a company called Suck UK. They are based in England, I think. Obviously the UK gives it away, and I was lucky enough to get this one for about £3 off eBay, so they are about, but generally they're about £6–7. If you go to their actual website, I think they're about £7, and they got the food toppers and sort of bottle of wine toppers and stuff. And there's a little switch on the back, you flick it on, and it lasts for about 30 seconds. That's not to waste your batteries. And obviously there's a card there for scale. The best way of sorting it, getting it started, is get yourself a small screwdriver. And these are the ones I've had lying about for a couple of Christmases. These are out of a Christmas cracker, which I never thought I'd get to use. But it's quite simple. It's two big screws on the back, which unlock the main back panel. And then inside there's all the wiring and all the gadgets inside. So I think there's 4 more screws to undo. And then basically set that part aside, as not to damage it, and then we'll start the modification processes, and I'll show you that in the next step. So that's what it looks like when it's taken apart, and inside you see there you've got the plastic eat me thing and a piece of sort of grease-proof tracing paper. Keep those safe because you will need those later on in the video. So I'm going to get started now, show you the rest of the processes. I'm not going to speak too much through it. I'll just put a description down the bottom, but I hope you enjoy the video. So I've gone and airbrushed these after I've primed them. This is the base, insignia white for the sign itself. That's just the front and back, and I'll fix them at a later date onto there. Now the bottom, once all the sand have dried and primed, just sort of put a variation of airbrush over the top, starting with, I think it was Russian brown from Model Air, and then just randomly sprayed different shades of brown, just mixing it in the hopper at once, not really cleaning the brush out, just dab a bit of browns and whites just to mix the variations of browns up. So that's the base. So I'm going to go ahead now and paint these stones up. I'll let you know what colours I use, but I'm not entirely sure yet. I'm going to mix them up a little bit. So I'll paint the stones up, and then we'll come back and we'll do a bit of weathering on this sign. Okay. So next step is to apply some weathering, and for that I used some of these little foam inserts out of a foam tray. You can also use scourers, sponges, and the little foam out your blister packs. Basically cut them up into different shapes and sizes, and then what you want to do is get yourself the paints you need. For this I used rust texture from Vallejo Mecha Colour, and I think fur brown later on. But basically put a little bit of paint on your foam and take most of it off on a piece of paper or a piece of card, and just lightly dab it over the areas you want it to go on. If you go a bit heavy, don't worry, because we are going to apply some thinners in a minute just to blend it in a little bit. But basically go over the whole sign, and when you're happy we'll move on to the thinners. So once you're happy with the weathering on your sign, get yourself some airbrush thinners. This is Vallejo thinner, and primarily you want to do this before the paint's dried. And all you need to do really is get a little bit on a paintbrush and just dab at it, you know, blend it in. Sort of turns it into a little bit of a wash, but only in certain areas. And basically just follow this step until you're happy with that, and then we'll move on to the second colour. So this is the final paint now in the weathering stage, and this is Fur Brown from Army Painter. It's quite an orangey brown, so this is going to be sort of a fresh rust look. And I did apply this in sort of bigger patches all over the model, or wherever you see fit. Let it dry for about 5 minutes to get the thinners out. This time now, instead of sort of brushing it over and creating a bit of a wash, sort of lightly dab the brush on top of it, and it'll sort of create a bit of a chipping effect and blend it in a bit better. So yeah, do that, and then we'll go on to putting the thing together and putting a sign in. So the final step really in creating your sign is to make your own sign, and for that I used an app on iTunes called I think it's Logo Shop, and there isn't a sort of scientific method to it. You just have to sort of tinker around with it until you get the sign to fit, which took me about 4 attempts. But yeah, basically just keep going until you get it. Put the sign back together. Then I applied a wash of sort of strong tone over the top, just to sort of blend it all together. And I did go over the paper as well, as you can see there, just to sort of blend it all together. The next step after that, I got a sort of a Tamiya weathering pad, which has got, I think it's snow, soot and rust. And then just basically lightly put the soot and the rust over the top as the sort of last minute texture. Yeah, that's it basically. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate to ask, but I'll leave you with a couple of stills afterwards, and I'll put the lights on for you so you can see what it does. Thanks for watching. Well, that's the end of the tutorial, so I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope it's going to help you create your own sign. If you like the video, like it. If you've got any questions, comments, or sort of anything you didn't quite understand, just pop it in the comments below and I'll get back to you. And as always, if you like the channel, subscribe. Also, you can support me on my Patreon page for as little as $1 a month, and then you doing so will just help me create more content and will help the channel grow. But as always, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you again next time.